been on the terrace in a while, so it's nice to not say anything controversial or not have all the subscribers in my mentions saying how my opinions stink and oh you said this, you said that. But I'm probably gonna get attacked for this, so I would have rather had Ange than Poch. I've said it from day one. I wanted Ange over Poch, and I know people are gonna act as if I'm crazy, but I believe tactically Ange is a superior manager, and in terms of how his football would translate into the current Prem with our squad, I think it would do better than Poch. Plus, and I did a lot of research on Ange, by the way, so I'm not just saying, oh, he got loads of points at Celtic, which means he's the best man for the job. No, I read about his personality, his man management. He's got excellent talent ID. He worked with a very, very limited budget at Celtic. So this is someone who I believe has a personality to control a dressing room, has the talent ID to be able to manage larger funds effectively. Obviously not stupidly, but just purely effectively. And I believe his tactics are very, very good. I've got a few small concerns with them, but very, very tiny. And I believe he would have been a better appointment than Poch. So Spurs, for me, have got a top manager. The only issue is their squad is not built to play a back four. Like their fullbacks are very, very weak. Romero and someone else, that person's probably going to be weak. Their midfielders, they're all pretty much like double pivot sixes. Like there's no like proper like creative like forward thinking eight in there. That's another thing that's lacking. And obviously, what do you do about Kane? So I think
Roy, can I ask you something? How many games you have watched this year for Celtic?
I watched a lot of Celtic highlights, and I've even got a friend who supports Celtic. I've got a friend who supports Celtic, and I was talking to him a lot when we just sacked Potter, and I was like, oh, what's this like Celtic guy saying? And I even watched a few Celtic games on Sky Sports Football. Like I did a lot of research on Ange before.
I've got to be honest with you. It just sounds like you're selling me. It just sounds like you're selling me 2013 Brendan Rodgers all over again. it really does. He's got a nice personality. He plays nice football.
No.
That's all well and good. That's all well and good. But he does not. He's never managed this size. I don't think people realise how big these football clubs are until they're there. And Postecoglou has managed. Celtic are a fantastic club, fantastic support, but they are nothing compared to what the top Premier League clubs are in terms of just sheer size. And the last time you appointed a manager who was at a smaller club beforehand, played nice football, had the ego to control the dressing room, was Graham Potter, made 7, 8, 9 months ago. And that went horribly because they don't understand the size of the club. Unless Postecoglou has this innate ability to change how he manages and has the ego to deal with some of the superstars in the Chelsea dressing room.
I've watched his interviews, Tom. He's got a personality. He won't hesitate to put anyone in there.
Just look at the nearest guys.
To back it up. He's got no. That's like me having an ego against Tyson Fury. I can have an ego.
That's it right there, Roy. We took a massive risk with Graham Potter. We're not in a position right now to be constantly taking risks. Spurs right now, they've got nothing to lose. That's why I think it's a good appointment for them. For us, the next manager that we brought in had to be the right appointment. And Pochettino, he's got a proven record of doing it in this league, developing young players. We've seen him doing it here.
But doing what in this league?
Like I said, just developing young players, competing with Tottenham, taking Tottenham to a Champions League final. Again, developing young players at Southampton. The list is, I could go on all day, but this is not about Pochettino. The point that I'm making is that it would have been too much of a risk considering we just hired Graham Potter. I'm going to keep a close eye on him in years to come to see how he gets on. I think he'll be a top manager from what I've heard of him. But right now for Chelsea, it wouldn't have been the right appointment, in my opinion.
I'm seeing Steven Gerrard again. Steven Gerrard had amazing numbers with Rangers, and we said, oh my God, great brand of football. Then he went to Aston Villa, and we all know what happened.
Steven Gerrard went invincible.
Why we were
Steven
looking
Gerrard went invincible in that league. He went invincible.
Yes. Why are we going to Brendan Rodgers? Just a year ago, someone who had absolutely fantastic time at Rangers, and then he's coming to the Premier League, and we're looking at someone who was out of his depth. Steven Gerrard managing not even Spurs, just Aston Villa. Come on, guys, just be realistic a little bit.
It's going to be an interesting one. African Giant here says, I know what I'm having for breakfast. I can tell you it ain't waffles, mates. Wi-Fi password merchant over Poch. Allow it, mate. Emmanuel Drip says, waffle
they were going to come for
of a drug is what Emmanuel has got to say there. Cal, one of our long-standing Tottenham fans on the terrace, says already reports about him having to work within his means. Shock horror. Them at the top haven't learned a thing. Matter of when, if not if he's sacked. In terms of the transfers, Paul O'Keefe, who is a leading football intermediary who deals with a lot of transfers, very well connected at Tottenham, has stated today, and I messaged him privately to ask if it's true, Spurs, as one of the first signings potentially for their new manager, are looking at Manchester United's Harry Maguire to come in. And it's a genuine story. I'm not sitting there making it up. I'm keeping a straight face when I say that to be respectful. Harry Maguire to Tottenham. What are we saying? Good bit of business for Spurs? They're talking 35-40 million as well.
Fantastic business for United. They're able to offload such a
I think it depends what kind of football Spurs want to play.
It's a good business.
If it's going to be good business or not.
I love you, Roy, but to be honest, like, you keep talking about systems and stuff. It's Harry Maguire, my man.
No, but you guys, you guys have misprofiled Maguire.
I don't like calling players shit. Like, I only call players shit for two reasons. Either you lack the basics, like Gallagher, for example, you just lack the basics, or you're playing shit in a really, really good system. And I feel like with Maguire, in the right system, he's actually fundamentally a good player. Now, that system isn't a high line where he's pushing up, always on the front foot, super aggressive. I think it's more of a maybe like a mid-low block, and he can bring the ball and play the ball out of the back when necessary. And so if Ange isn't going to play super aggressive front foot attacking football, then I feel like Maguire, he's a serviceable player.
See, exactly. Like. Fantastic. You just sold us Ange of progressive, good style of football. And at the same time, you're telling us, yeah, but they misprofiled Maguire. He's not. So Maguire would fit in a low block team. Like, he was great at Leicester because they were defending most of the time. I went to the stats. They didn't have the ball most of the time, which is Bavs just mentioned. But if you're going to get the Ange guy and you're selling us a project for progressive football, and your first signing is talking to Manchester United to sign Harry Maguire, you're already set for a failure.
No. You're underrating Maguire's ball playing ability. That is not his weakness.
But the thing is that, Babs, that's not the issue though. Like, in terms of
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
System,
Maguire is perfectly fine on the ball.
No, it's not. It's
Maguire
not
is what?
He's perfectly fine on the ball. Yeah,
it's about the recovery runs in behind. If a ball goes in over the top, it's about being super aggressive.
That's his weakness.
And not getting caught out.
That's what you're right.
What do you mean, Babs? Maguire is good with the ball? I don't want to.
He's good with the ball. I've seen him.
Come on.
Because that's
what do you mean he's good with the ball? He's good with the ball.
His switches of play, his numbers are fantastic. His switches of play are decent. I've seen him play for England to do it at a high standard. I don't see him give the ball away. Okay. So and that was with a back four as well. Don't forget, at times it wasn't just always a back three. So I think Maguire's. I mean, listen, let's not forget, this is a player that Pep Guardiola wanted when he was, leaving Leicester. And it was just that they didn't want to pay £80 million for him. So Pep Guardiola don't want to sign you if you can't play with the ball. His ball playing ability isn't the issue. The issue is, as you said, if Spurs want to play an aggressive high line, that will be an issue. But, you have to have baby steps first. You can't just go straight into an aggressive high line. They need to get into a mid-block first, to steady the ship. And think about what Spurs are working with right now, or Eric Dyer. Is he not an upgrade on Eric Dyer? And how much we're talking? £35 million. In the current market, where centre-backs going for 60, 70 after one good season. I mean, I think it's a decent deal.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to say something about Harry Maguire. Being good in diagonals doesn't mean you are good on the ball.